Today we are going to go over how to edit your reading spreadsheet. If you are here for my Etsy listing, I want to thank you so much for purchasing my reading spreadsheet from me. This is thousands of hours of labor into this string and I love it so much, so thank you so much for supporting me in this way. If you are just here for my YouTube channel, know that you are able to purchase this template from me. I have this $5 template up for 2025 version, but I also have a free 2024 version that just does not include as many sheets in here. So either way, thank you so much for watching and I hope this video helps. I've gotten a few questions about how to edit certain things, so I'm just going to do the best I can of showing you everything that you can do in this spreadsheet. Alright, so we're just going to go sheet by sheet and see. I'm going to go over all the questions that I've gotten so far, as well as maybe a few spreadsheet things that you just didn't know how to do. We're just going to fit as many things as I can into this video. If you have more questions or things you want to do or things you want to see added into the spreadsheet, please comment it below so that I can either help explain it to you or I can make an updated video with even more things for how to change and how to make this spreadsheet yours. Alright, so this is the actual template that you will see if you purchase my Etsy listing. It is set as to you cannot edit, so what you're going to do is go up to File and make a copy, and in doing so it will open up your own and you will be able to rename it and you'll be able to edit that one. So that's the first thing you have to do. So everything I do here you can't do until you've made that copy. Alright, a few key terms here. These are called cells. Each of these little individual squares that you see, these are going to be obviously columns, and this way is rows. This whole thing is a spreadsheet, but each of these is a sheet or a page. Alright, so going through, you can type directly into any of them. So this is where you write the title of the book. If you click enter on your keyboard, you're going to go down, and if you click tab, you're going to go to the right. You can also click shift tab and it'll go backwards. To get rid of a text, you're just going to click the backwards space or the delete space, so you can go through there. For these, you're going to click on this and it will show up. I have added, since then I've added quarter, half, and 3/4 ratings, but if you're like, I only rate based on full numbers, what you can do is you scroll down, you see this little pencil mark, you're going to go over here and it's going to say working, and then over on this way, it's going to say apply to range. You can ignore that, right? So say that you don't want this quarter star, you're going to remove the value, you're going to click done, and you're going to click apply to all. Okay? So now when you go through, it's no longer going to be there. But if you're like, oh man, actually I do want that, you're going to click this, right? So we got rid of the 1/4 star. So I'm going to copy this, you click add another item, you paste it, and then you can rearrange by dragging here. So we're going to add that in there. So done, apply to all. And then my head is in the way, but you click this X to make this go away. If you then put this and you're like, oh no, I didn't mean for this to be filled out, you just click the box and I click the backspace. So that goes away. The same for red, you can do it like that. These are check boxes. Dual POV is new. And then genres. I did get some questions about, can I change out genres? Of course, it's it's your spreadsheet now, do whatever you want. So what you can do is you go over and you click this edit button, and I have made new genres for as many as you like. But somebody was like, I actually don't read a lot of fantasy, can I put it in for historical fiction? Of course you can. You just type in the new value. You can delete, you can add. Say I wanted to add historical fiction. To get a new color, you just click this and you can come up with new ones. You can click custom colors, however you want to do it. I'm going to get that out of there. Done, apply to all. Get my head out of the way, click the X. Alright, same for supernatural. You can click here, right? And I have it as select. You can select multiple, so you can actually select multiple as you go, but you don't need to do that. Alright, romance is the same, spice is the same. If you're like, I don't read any spicy books, I don't want this in my spreadsheet, what you're going to do is you're going to go up to this column, and you can click that, or you can right click on it, and you can just say delete column. Gone. Gone. Alright, the next thing you can do is go over here, type things, say you want to rearrange columns. Unfortunately, because these columns kind of go across, you can't really move them around. They kind of panic a little bit. See, they go, oh no, you can't do that. So what you have to do is, you right click and say insert column left if you want something to go in there instead. And then you can't drag it around, so you have to say like, oh, over here I want to insert one column right, and it's going to duplicate that. So if you want to get rid of those, you can backspace, and now it's all gone. But if you're like, hey, actually I do want those, you're gonna go up here to insert, and actually what you're first gonna do is you're gonna go like this, and you're gonna click control and click the top so that you've no longer selected that, and then same thing for there, so you don't want that involved. You go insert, I want these drop down, so you're gonna click drop down, and then it's going to say, all right, done, and then it all populates. Okay, so then going over, say you did want to change out your, add historical, add your historical romance. You highlight these two, you say insert cells and shift down, and now you have that extra space for that new genre. Or you can just write right over fantasy. It's your spreadsheet. Do whatever you want. All right, what's next? Over here for imprint, I add imprints literally all the time. I like to have them alphabetized, but say that you're just writing and the Tor is in here, you can also just type directly into the box and Tor will come up. So you don't need to have them alphabetized. It just makes me happy to have them like that. So I am adding, I'm going in here and I'm adding publishers and imprints all the time. All right. So that is this portion, right? So once January ends, something different for me this year, and then I put it in here as well, is I put all of these at the end, because I used to have like 10 slots for January and then the February block and then the 10 slots for February, and I just, I was moving it around enough anyway, so I just put them all at the bottom. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this February one, right? And then you're going to click, you're going to drag it all the way up until it's here. Ta-da! February is now there. What you're going to notice though is that everything over here has now been shifted. So you can select these and you can delete cells, shift up, and everything's back to normal. All right, I'm going to put that back at the bottom because this is still the template you're using, so I don't want to frick it up for you guys. All right, going over this way. These you do have to auto-populate. So say I read, 5 books in January with 1,000 pages, right? If you don't read fan fiction, you can get rid of these. That's okay. I just have them in here. So let's say you read 5 books total and 1,000 pages total. See, now this has auto-populated into these numbers. I just have them here as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just so you can see how this is going to change. All right, going down here, these, as you can see right here, this is a formula that I wrote into these cells. So it says count if in the column D for how many 5 stars there are. Okay, so you go over to column D. You don't need to worry about that at all. But 5 stars, once I click 1 and 5 stars, the spreadsheet is now counting, hey, I'm counting column D, there's now a 5 star. It's going to go over here and look, there's now a 1 right there, and then this is also going to populate with a 1 star. So once you start adding in series, the numbers are going to start popping up. So you don't need to do anything to that. If you would like to, though, you can delete these rows and they will just delete themselves from the graphs. You do not have to have them on here. Same thing for all of the rest of these. If you click that you own the book, it's going to go in there. So here is where you do have to change things out, because if you were going to say, hey, I get a lot of gifted books, or, I want to change this to, I want to change fantasy into historical romance, what you do have to do is click the cell and then go up here to where it says fantasy, and you have to exactly type in the new genre. So you have to type in historical romance, or historical fiction, so that it will count the new genre, and so it won't be counting fantasy anymore. So if you change it over there, you do have to come over and change it over here, just so you can see it, and you have to change it in the formula. And all you have to do, click the cell, it'll pop up here for you to change, okay? If you would like to add new ones, what I suggest doing is click 1, copy this whole thing, right? This equal sign means that it is doing a formula for you. So all you're going to do is pound it in there, right? And it's popped up as a new formula for you. So if you add genres or you add new things, that is how you do that. So those are counting. when it says this number. Now, for example, checkboxes. I have a column over here for rereads. So if you reread one book, it'll come over and say, actually, there's one reread now. The reason it says 149 is because this formula is saying count if the checkbox is false, aka it has not been checked. And this is if the count is true, aka it has been checked. So because this is all blank, there's 150 like first time reads and one reread, if that makes sense. So if you want to create more checkboxes with a similar thing, I recommend just copying this and applying it to the new one. And the way you apply that is by copying, right? But you see this orange highlighted letter over here? It says F3 to F. What that means is that it's saying from cell FC until the rest of F. Now FC, see it's highlighted over here? FC is, or F3 is column F, cell 1, 2, 3. So 3F, so it's saying down there. So it's not including this reread or this gray block right here. So you do need to start it at F3. I hope that makes sense in the way I'm explaining it. All right, and all of these over here are going to be populated when you start doing that over here. If, for example, you're like, this blue is ugly, I don't know, you can double click this and you can change it into all of these different kinds of charts. I picked the charts that I think make the most sense. So there's a lot of things that you can play around with. But if you're like, nah, I just want to change up the color, you know, you can change up the background color, the border color, you can add titles, but the most thing you can do is fill color. Let's say we like that color better. Where I clicked the Control Z off screen. I'm sorry, I know you didn't see that. But that's how you can kind of change things out. Let me fill in just a few things for you so that hopefully, dual POV, why not? Genre, nonfiction. We're just gonna click one of everything so that hopefully things will start showing up for you in the graph so you can see what's going on here. All right, so say you've filled out all your books. All right, now things are starting to show up. Here is your 5-star. Look, owned has showed up, and now it is in there. Physical has shown up because these actually take directly from this. So if you add anything in here, I think these are my most done ones. So this is actually, you can see up here, it's a sum of V. So V is this column right here, 35, which I'm pointing at my screen as if you can see. 35, you go across right there, is a sum of own, because that's a physical, with V36, which is the next one, which is library. These are my 2 library books. And then audio is going to be a sum of, it's on here, it's just 37. And then online is going to be a sum of the last 3. So if you add, for example, like gifted, you would come up here to physical, you know, you would add it in here, things would shift down, and you would just say comma, and then the, and then the row number of whatever that cell is, so that will auto-populate. And so that has now changed. You don't have, look, this is all physical now, so that has auto-populated. First read is 149, that's not in here. But up here, you do have your nonfiction filled in, that's now up here, in single POV versus dual POV. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to now uncheck all of these. If you would like, see, I pressed the backspace on the one above and the whole box disappeared. We don't want that. So we're going to make sure that we very carefully uncheck everything. If you would, no, I don't want to add more right here, thank you. I know that this bit of the tutorial is a little bit longer than other bits will be, but that's because I'm also just kind of giving you the groundwork for how to edit a spreadsheet in general. Okay, so I believe that is going to be all for this first page, which is arguably the most important page. So we're going to move on to challenges over here. If you want different challenges, just type them in. The way I challenge is that, you know, first letter, go by column title, so that's A. Over here, there's nothing really, this is very simple edits. Over here, it's the same steps as the other one. If you want to get rid of spice or change, or if you want to add romance or not, for it to reread, this is all pretty normal. So we're going to come over to this Read the World spreadsheet, and hopefully you don't have to do any edits to this whatsoever, because I did already list all of the states. I've already set up the maps with their formulas, and I've already created all of the countries in the world and continents. So the way this spreadsheet works is that, say I had a 5-star read from Puerto Rico, and a 4-star read from Portugal, and a 3-star read from the Philippines, and a 2-star read from, and a 1-star. Okay, let's just say that we have these in here. Alright, so up here at the world map, you can see that the countries have auto-populated. The darker the color, the higher the rating. And the same is going to happen up here. So you can see them coming up, right? So these are going to show. But they'll also show down here. So I didn't click any Africa, but look, you can see Philippines has showed up. We have 2 Europe showed up, nothing from there, and then 1 from there, right? So the way that this formula works is that, let's find these countries again. If you want to recreate these, I clicked the data range from here is selecting the countries along with the ratings. So the way I created it, all right, so insert chart. We are doing a map. There we go. Alrighty, so the way we created this, right? Let's see, we're gonna go to Europe, or we can keep it the world. So min, mid, max, right? So the way I did it was that, the darker blue was or actually the lighter blue is the minimum, the mid was halfway blue, and the dark was the really dark blue. You could also do it where it's like, this is red, and this is green, and that's blue, right? So now if we go in, and we click 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, it's thinking. See how colorful this can be? Alright. I didn't pick very large countries, but they are in there. And you can, so that's how you can make these maps, if you really wanted to. Alright, but we are going to get rid of that and get rid of that, because I've already made the maps for you. So hopefully, oops, I should probably get rid of these and get rid of the states. So hopefully you shouldn't have to do any editing to these. I did include just a few links to help you find some books from countries, because I know it's kind of hard, but I highly recommend going to your local library. Alright, for tropes, there shouldn't be too much editing you want to do here. Of course, you can add tropes. You can type it in down here and then click this and pull it up if you'd like. Or you can say, actually, insert a cell and shift down. That's 2 different ways. If you want to change out your genres, you can do that. You can add more genres. That's really the only editing you need to do here. For content, change out your genres, change out if you want spice or not, add in things, I want to add something else here, left or right, whatever you want to do. There's no charts or any formulas in here, so there's not too much. Alright, this is a big spreadsheet. This is the book's own spreadsheet, right? You write the title, the author. You can change this. Personally, I like to have paperback, hardback, soft cover, which is like those books that don't have sleeves, but they're not paperbacks. And then mass paperback, you don't have to have those in there. Again, you can click this little edit button and you can add, change, whatever you want to do. I personally like to include all the imprints and publishers. Something to note about this imprints, you can see you scroll all the way down, you can't see the edit button because some of these are very long. So you actually have to scroll over this way so you can see the edge of it. That's just one little tip for this one. If you don't want to have that information, you can just delete it. Delete the row, the column, you don't need it. I like to have date acquired and how acquired. It is now January, so the way I do this is I scroll down and I add Jan 25. If you have a better way of tracking dates, please tell me, because this is the best way I've found so far. This is how acquired, special edition signed red series, and then I just like copy and paste. And you see how that already auto-populated? Isn't that fun? So over here, these will auto-populate as you copy and paste them in, because again, it's counting how many times that is in here. So I highly recommend copying and pasting, so it's already nice in there. And this will automatically take data from here to show you. This is the red percentage, right? So 100% unread right now, right? But if I click one, look how it populated like that. Isn't that fun? Same for series. This is 100% not series, but if you click, it will populate for you. This, I don't even know which graph this is, but it's off of one of these in here. It could be, nope, it's not that one, but look, that imprint showed up. That means that it's probably, oh, see, I'm going to delete. It's probably, yep, cover, so now it's 100% paperback. So you shouldn't need to do any of that. If you change this over, it will change this over. There's not too much you have to do for that. And this is all data from over here. This down here is something that I like to track. You don't need to have this. You can delete if you'd like. Another thing to note, if you click over this and you press the backspace delete, the words are gone, but the colors are not. So you have to click Control backspace, and that reformats the cell, so it's no longer in there. So Control Z, come back. All right, the way I like to do this is for all of my fiction books, if I had 10 and I've read 9 of them, I like to just track over time how I'm doing with certain genres. Like I haven't overall read 6 out of 10, 60%, but I want to know, oh, out of the 10 fantasy books I've read 7, but out of the 10 nonfiction books I've read 1. So that's just stuff that I like to see. As maybe I go really hard on my fantasy one year and then really hard on my romance the next year. That's just something fun for me to have in there. If you would like to add more cells in here, I recommend going literally anywhere. I wouldn't add to the bottom because this is actually a table, so you can filter by authors. So let's say that author is Z over author A, right? You can go up here, click authors A to Z, and it's actually going to do the whole way across. So let me actually show you what that looks like. So I just Control Z, right? This publisher is Abrams, and this date acquired was 2019. If you do this, Abrams is still with Z and A is still with 2019, if you saw them kind of move like that. So, and you can do that for literally any of these. Alrighty, so the next sheet is the series tracker. This one does have a ton of formulas in it. So the way I write it is I write the author name, and then the series. Oh, that's not how you spell series, whatever. And then this is the ongoing completed DNF, right? And that goes all the way down to the bottom, so you don't need to do anything for that. The number of books in the series, let's say that there are 5, right? And unread, yeah, see, it doesn't make sense. You've read 4 of them. That changes automatically. You see this formula up here. It is D7, change minus E7. So 5 minus 4 is 1. And this also is a formula. It is E7 divided by D7, which, of course, remember fractions from grade school, is going to make 80%. And this is a formula that I actually learned from another YouTuber, and it creates this progress bar that goes up and down as you change it. So if we go up to date, if you click that, all right, I'm pointing at the screen again. Watch up here for how many I'm currently reading. If I click I'm up to date, that goes down to 51. All right, so I consider up to date as I've read all of the books in this time period. I need to reformat this. I read all the books in this time period that have been published. So like say there's 4 books that are currently out, but the 5th one's not out yet. I've read all 4, even though I haven't finished the series. I consider that up to date. All right, the reason it's saying all of these is because this number is counting up starting D7, so D7, all the way down through D. So it's counting up all of these numbers. It's counting them all up. This is books read is counting up all of these numbers. Books to read is counting up all of these numbers. And currently reading is counting up all of the non-checkmarked. So I started with many, like 50 series in here. But if you don't have those, you can delete the columns. You can just erase them, whatever you want to do. But if you're like me and you read a ton of series and you're like, hey, I need more of these, what you're going to do is you're going to click this cell. You see this blue dot? You're going to click it and drag it. You see this blue dot? You have to do that click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. You got to do that for all of them so that the formulas will carry on. Now, if you're like, Sydney, I want 10 more. Okay. Do that for as many times as you like, okay? And as you can see, look, ready? Ready? 1, 1, 1, 1. That's all gonna auto populate. And going up here, this added series. Cool. These up here, this is just my personal color coding system. Feel free to change them to whatever you want. I like this very pretty color scheme, so I'm gonna do that. You can also change up your own key system up here. These are my particular things. If I reread it, I italicize. If I own it, I underline it. And if it's not yet released, I have this gray color. I think that's really easy for my eyes to see, but feel free to do whatever you like. I would not touch these. If you want to add statistics, you are more than welcome to. These are the ones that you can kind of go off of. You can just, again, click up here and then Control A for Control All, Control C for copy, and then you can make it another one down here of whatever you want to do up there. All right, over here for author tracker, there's really nothing you need to change up here. Just have author book series of your own, you know, where to find them. Again, if you want to add more, click that little edit button. If you want to add more rows, right click, insert one below, or whatever you need, except you see it's outside of the parameter, so I would actually go up here. Now it's inside. Not 100% sure why it does that, but this is so you can also sort A to Z in all of them. And that is it for how to edit up here, but I want to show you a few things. Number one, this is the normal template that I use. This is what mine looks like. I'm going to show you right now what my spreadsheet looks like, right? So this is my entirely filled in 2024. You'll see that the genres are a little different because I updated them, but this is what it looks like when it's all filled in. You can see what my statistics look like, what things look like once they start filling in. Over here you can see what 2025 is looking like right now. I include a lot of notes and stuff that I'm doing currently. You can see I filled in a few things. Things are starting to pop in, so it's okay if it looks pretty sparse in the beginning because you haven't read that many books yet. My challenges, I did just restart, but as you scroll over here, you can look and see what challenges can look like. I highlighted all the ones that I didn't get to. That's just what I like to do. Let's see. My 5 stars, this is what I do. Every time there's a new year, I just write the next number in. Same for fan fiction. Here's what fan fiction looks like for me when it's all filled in. I created a color coordination for the 2 fandoms that I read. There are others in here. See? Yeah, proof that I read other things. And then personally, I like to track how many words I read each month, and what that equates to in pages. It's for however many words. There's about 280 words per page in a standard book, and I average about 300 pages per book. So that's how I track how many words to books there are. This is what my Read the World looks like right now. As you can see, I'm doing pretty well on the States. Not doing too hot in the world, but I'm working on it. This is what my tropes look like so far. What I like to do is I like to have the book in the color of the genre that it is. You don't need to do that. That's just how I like to do it. Here's what content looks like. I haven't done too much with this, but it is filled out. This is what my books owned looks like. You can see it is pretty full, but there are things that I'm missing, and that's a-okay. But if you go over to the top over here, you can see what my graphs look like once things start filling out. You know, I can very clearly see I have a lot of fantasy books. I haven't read too many books. This is why I have my physical TBR challenge. See, I've done a lot of series, so, and sometimes it gets a little crazy like this, but that's okay. And then this is what this period looks like, and these extra columns over here is me saying, hey, this got worse than the last time I did it. Hey, this remained the same as the last time I tracked it, and these actually got better. So this is me seeing like, oh, you know, how did things get better from the last time I tracked it? That's just an extra thing that I like to see immediately because I love data. This is what my series tracker looks like right now. You can see it that there's some series that I haven't even started yet and some that I am pretty good on. You can see some of my anticipated releases that are all gray. They're pretty easy for me to find. My author tracker, you can see I haven't filled out where to find for most of them, but I do have quite a lot of authors in here. These are other sheets that are not included in your template because these are special for me. Maybe I should include this. Let me know if you want this in an update. But it's just really, I have two that I'm going to, right? The name of the authors that are attending these events that I'm going to, links to their Instagram, TikToks, the genres that they write, the series and the book that they are promoting with links to their Goodreads. And then under my head, you can see if I own it, have I read it, and where I can find it. So maybe I'll include that in the next update. This is the template. I really don't use it anymore. I feel like I can delete it. And then these are the ones that I have already used. And you can click on one of these and shift it if you like. That's how I, you know, when the new year starts, I shift it over that way. The last thing I'm going to show you is that you can see that this is what my spreadsheet looks like. It looks just like the template, but I was realizing that some people don't really like the monochrome, like the very minimalistic kind of look with just a few colors for the genres. So I was going through and I was like, you know what if I made a rainbow spreadsheet? What if all of the sheets were super colorful like this? Like what if everything looked fun? And so I did that for all the sheets, and then I was like, well, what if I make a really pretty blue and green one? Wouldn't that be fun, huh? Where everything is like just like my favorite colors. And I was like, oh, okay, what if people want a dark mode in which it doesn't hurt their eyeballs as much? So I do now have different versions of this spreadsheet up in my Etsy. If you were on the fence about buying because you didn't like how white mine was, because I like really minimalistic things. So if you're like, hey, I was waiting for this rainbow one to drop, thank you so much. That's up now. So if there's like another color scheme that you're like, hey, make it these colors and I would buy it, or like, hey, this dark mode one is pretty nice, but like I want like a black one, like let me know. It wasn't too hard for me to make, and I can absolutely do that. But also you can do that if you have this one, or you're like, hey, but like this color isn't it for me. You're just gonna go over here and you're gonna highlight these and you're gonna come up to this fill color. And I actually look up color palettes online. Otherwise, you can just click that and play around with it and get other colors. So you can do this to any spreadsheet, really at all. It's super easy. You just have to spend the time to go through and do it all the time. Something else that you can do, though, there is a way to, look, all right, by clicking that, you select all of that. But if you click this top left, it selects everything. So one thing you can do is, let me see if I can find it, because I actually never ever use this. You can make it so that it's alternating colors. All right, there we go. You can do theme. Here we are, alternating colors. And so now it's a little easier to read, where it kind of alternates between gray, white. And it does different styles and all of that. Personally, I don't like the look of this, but I know a lot of people that do. So that's an option for you as well. Absolutely play around with the customizable things that you can do in these spreadsheets. Make it your own. Do what you like with it. If you post it anywhere, tag me. I would love to see what you do with these spreadsheets. That would make me so happy. But yeah, if you have any more questions, or if you're like, hey, you didn't show me how to edit this, or hey, can you add this to the spreadsheet, please drop a comment. I would love to help you with that. I want to make sure that people are getting the absolute most out of these spreadsheets they can. I love tracking my reading. I love books. I love talking about books. I love data. And I'm happy to share this with the world. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. And reminder, I do post YouTube videos twice a week, and very often this spreadsheet and what I'm doing to it and adding to it and how I'm filling it out is featured on my YouTube quite a lot. So go check that out if you haven't already. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.